Hello everyone, I'm Guido Grinbaum again, and welcome to Module 6 of this course on microcredentials. Today we're going to talk about the topic that defines the future of digital learning, which is quality. Issuing credentials is easy, building trust is not. And in the world of microcredentials, trust is everything. In recent years, universities around the world have rushed to issue thousands of badges and digital certificates, but many did so without a clear evaluation framework, without academic criteria, and without quality control. The result, a credential inflation, digital titles that mean nothing. Because no one can guarantee that the real knowledge behind them is in fact genuine. That's why the big challenge today is not to issue more, but to issue better. To ensure that every credential has value, legitimacy, and coherence. Quality in microcredentials is built on 4 dimensions. First, the academic dimension. That each credential is based on a real, clear, observable, and accessible learning outcome. Second, the technical dimension, that it complies with interoperability standards such as Open Badge 3.0, the European Learning Model, or the specific standards of OneTech. Third, the institutional dimension, that there is a formal process of internal validation. And fourth, the social or professional dimension, that the credential is understood and recognized outside the campus by employers, organizations, or academic peers. If any of these 4 dimensions is missing, the credential loses value because it's not enough to have an attractive design or a QR code. What matters is that the credential means something, that it represents a real competency, that it can be demonstrated, and that it is recognized by other stakeholders in the system. At the global level, various organizations are already leading the way. In Europe, NTUA and NTUA have included microcredentials within the quality standards for higher education. In its 2023 guidelines, UNESCO defined standards to ensure transparency, learning outcomes, and evidence of assessment. And the OET is promoting the skills framework, where all learning is measured throughout one's entire life. All of this points to a single idea: quality is the common language of global education. So, how is a microcredential evaluated? First, with performance-based assessments, projects, case studies, or applied challenges. Second, with digital evidence, such as portfolios, reports, or videos that demonstrate competence in action. Third, with peer or academic committee evaluations to ensure consistency and objectivity. And finally, with external validation, when companies or experts recognize the credential as real evidence of skill. The principle is simple. A microcredential doesn't show that someone attended, it shows that someone knows how to do. That's the difference that changes everything, and it's the foundation of competency-based education, which is at the heart of this new educational model. The universities that took this seriously work with a continuous quality cycle in 5 steps. Design the credential with clear objectives, review it before launch, implement the program and assess learning, monitor the impact and collect data, and update it periodically. This cycle maintains academic credibility and prevents credentials from becoming obsolete or irrelevant. Transparency is also part of quality. Universities must publish which credentials they issue, what skills they certify, how they evaluate them, and who approves them. That's not marketing, it's public trust. Examples like Melbourne, Deakin University, or Trinity College Dublin maintain open catalogs where anyone can verify the validity, content, and traceability of each credential. And this transparency builds institutional reputation. Quality can also be measured with indicators, for example, completion rate, student satisfaction level, job placement, how often the content is updated, and the number of external verifications each batch receives. This data is not just statistical, it is a form of organizational learning. It helps universities adjust, improve, and demonstrate real impact. In the coming years, quality assurance will evolve even further. We will see AI-assisted evaluation, which detects coherence between results and evidence. Decentralized verification, where universities and organizations validate credentials among themselves through blockchain. Employability analytics, which will track graduates' journeys to understand which skills truly create opportunities. And collaborative audits, where universities evaluate each other to maintain shared standards. All of this points to a more open and connected ecosystem, an ecosystem where credentials are not islands but nodes in a global system of educational trust. Each batch issued by a university can be read, understood, and validated anywhere in the world. That is the promise of interoperable learning. But there is something more important than technique: ethics. Issuing a credential is an act of responsibility. It is to affirm to society that a person has mastered a competency. And if that is not true, something much greater than reputation is lost, public trust is lost. That is why quality is also an ethical commitment. Quality assurance must be part of the institution's DNA, not as an isolated office or an administrative checklist, but as a culture of continuous improvement. The most advanced universities, they do not see quality as control but as learning. They constantly review, adjust, and redesign their credentials because they understand that knowledge changes and that education must evolve with it. A quality credential is not measured by the technology behind it, but by the truth it contains, by what it says, who issues it, and who receives it. Ultimately, a digital credential does not speak only about the student. It also speaks about the university, its rigor, its vision, and its responsibility. Between 2025 and 2030, quality will become the most valuable currency in the educational ecosystem, and each institution's reputation will be built on the strength of its credentials. Issuing micro-credentials without quality will be like printing money without backing. Only those who guarantee coherence, traceability, and real evaluation will be recognized as academic leaders. Quality is what turns an innovation into a lasting transformation, and it is also what gives meaning to everything we have done in this course. Because micro-credentials are not just technology, they are a new way to validate human knowledge, and knowledge without quality has no future. Thank you very much for joining me in this module. In our next session, we will wrap up this journey by looking at how to turn this entire process into a strategy, a comprehensive strategy for institutional implementation and evaluation. See you in the next module.